Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. And today we have two wonderful guests here, extraordinary students, extraordinary people, Nicole and Natalie Sanchez. And yes, they are twins. So when I'm looking at you, if every once in a while I'll giggle, it's because I've never been this close to twins before. So
Okay.
you both are students at S.A.S. West, which is School for Advanced Studies.
Correct.
Yes.
You, the particular one you go to is one in Doral, where you and your family live.
Yes.
So tell us about how and why you decided to go into the S.A.S. program. Nicole, let's start with you.
Well, at first I heard about this school by our best friend, and she told us that there's this really cool school that does a dual enrollment. And it's in the school itself. It has like a dual enrollment in program where you can be in college and high school at the same time. And at the time in our past school, we were also in a dual enrollment program, but it was only we started like in 10th grade, but then this school is in 11th and 12th grade students only, and it has that program embedded into it. And we thought it was a good opportunity because graduating with our associate's degree, it would help us get ahead and we would graduate early and it would help us like plan for the future.
So Natalie, so why did you choose this particular school versus staying at the high school, a different high school, and accomplishing the same same end result on the surface, all right? Which was to graduate with your AA from Miami-Dade and from high school.
Yes. Well, it's also like one of the top 5 schools in the whole country, and it's also like I believe it's like the first in math. So we want to go into STEM majors. So doing that, we thought that's a great opportunity to go to a
Tell
great
people
high
what
school.
what it is.
STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, and that's basically what we want to study in the future. And I thought it was a great opportunity to go to a school that has like that focus and is strong with it.
So what is it like when you were invited, or whether you invited yourself to go, and that you made that decision at some point, figuratively, you pulled the trigger, said, yes, I'm going to do that. And what was that like, Nicole, when you made that decision, I'm going to go do that? What did you feel inside?
Yeah, I actually was really happy. I felt like proud of myself that I had like control in that decision. And I'm like, this is going to be something that will help me in the future. And as soon as I got accepted and I took the exam and I passed, I felt a lot of fulfillment. And I was really excited to start the new journey there at
And
school.
how old were you when you went?
We were
when you started.
When we started, we were 16.
16.
Yes.
When I was 16, we were mowing yards trying to make $10. All right. So Natalie, and for you, what was that like when you said, okay, we're going to do this? Did you apply at the same time, by the way?
We did apply at the same time.
Of course, they're twins.
Yeah.
All right. Did you both get the accepted notice about the same time?
Yes, pretty much. I just had like an overall positive attitude. Like I know that, I'll just try my best in school, and what comes to me in the future, like I'll just try my best and I should have fun and have a lot of opportunities.
And that's one of the things that these type of programs do. They instill a great deal of confidence in you, so that you've opened this door a little bit bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have great instructors, but each of you have taken on some projects. All right, so let's talk about the project you're working on, which is for vets.
Correct.
We're going to show some pictures up on the screen over here, if we could.
So I guess I'll start by saying how the idea was born. It was actually almost a year ago, last Veterans Day. So we're Girl Scouts, and in our Girl Scouts, we received a message that they were receiving volunteers to help in the Veterans Day ceremony.
Before you go on, tell us about this picture.
Oh, okay. So that picture is me. I was formally invited to Southcom, and I'm standing beside Major Casey Martin, and he is one of the people that helped me get my project carried out. He would filter emails to important generals such as General Laura Richardson, which is like the top of the top in Southcom, and Brigadier General Regina Sabrick.
And when was this picture taken?
It was in Memorial Day, this year's Memorial Day.
So you're how old now? 17?
17.
So what's that like? Here you are, you're standing in front of, some of the finest soldiers in the world. All right. What's that like standing next to them?
It's really an honor. Like they even tell me when they meet me that, oh, wow, you're a Girl Scout. Like we value your efforts in bettering the community and stuff. And I see them as like inspiration to me. And especially like since General Laura Richardson is a woman and I'm a woman too, it gives me a lot of hope. And it's really just an honor to be in their presence, knowing how far they've come and the fact that they value what I've done too.
One of the things that happens when you grow up as a white male in society, and we don't ever think that we were discriminated against and the door is always open. And then you start hearing about this glass ceiling, which is for people of color or for women. And you realize when you don't experience it, you don't quite see it. But once you start seeing it, you say, oh my goodness, that's all the time. That's why it's important that you're talking about a mentor with the general, all right?
Mhm.
Actually, you have become one of those people that people look up to, because when you're there, some little girl out there, who is that? Who is that? All right. So as you're on your journey to help with this project with vets, lots of people are looking. Do we have some other pictures here for the vets? And we're getting Nicole. We're getting. I'm sorry,
Natalie.
Natalie.
Yes.
We're going to get onto your Venezuelan project in a second.
Okay.
So who is this?
So here I'm standing next to combat veteran Ana Guerrero, and she's also works in the Miami Vet Center. She is like the Veterans Outreach Program Specialist, and she helps coordinate veteran events as well as military events around Doral and other cities. And she's also one of my mentors in my project that helps me reach more audience. And she's become a good friend of mine.
So you mentioned combat vet. What does that mean?
So combat veteran, she did tell me that it's basically when you are actively serving in I think it's like in wartime, or like just that she's experienced battle injuries as well, and even like mental things. Like you don't see it there, she's standing all fine, but she's told me personally that nobody really knows like the struggles that veterans are facing. They have a smile on their faces, but they really have gone through a difficult past, and as a combat veteran, it's very common to see that.
You know, for us that managed to live through big storms and traumatic events, when we talk about Hurricane Andrew, if you talk about it to anybody over the age of 60, most of us still get goosebumps. Mm. And then when you hear a storm coming, we frequently flip back to August 1992, I think, right? And there you are in the middle of that. So here are veterans when there are bullets flying all over and people getting shot and people dying, and they're living with that. It's really something that we as a community need to provide better healthcare and better notification about those people when they're having problems, so that they don't slip into depression. Mm-hmm. All right. And so there's the more outreach we have, the more we're taking it out of the shadows and bringing it forth, that they have a high probability of not just surviving, but of thriving and raising families. We have another picture from the vets.
So that's me also in the Memorial Day observance event at Southcom. And those are all the pictures of the fallen and missing soldiers of the families that attended the event. They decided to have a whole table with portraits of their loved ones.
It was very nice. So let me ask you about Southcom. People don't know what happens at Southcom, but why don't you tell us?
So at Southcom, I know it's a military base, and it's like basically in charge of all the southern region of.
They run the wars out of there.
Yeah.
All that stuff. That's what they got. All these little doohickeys, and they direct our armed services from the offices here. You know, drill. Okay, we have another picture of the vets.
And so that's me standing next to Claudia, and I believe that's Joe. And he is also a veteran. And Claudia, she is what you call a Golden Star family member. And she, they receive a Golden Star, the families that lost a loved one during the war. And she was there as a guest, and she was there to give me the certificate that you see there. I'm holding in the picture, and it's basically just an outstanding service towards military affairs. And
so, what's it like when you meet these soldiers and you meet the families of the soldiers that have died? What's it like for you inside?
I would say it's emotional, because they tell me stories that really hit like me in the heart. And I actually have like an uncle that used to be a veteran, and I can relate to that sense, that the empathy, and it helps me really see what they've gone through. Not many people know, but the families, they go through a lot. So yeah.
You're 17.
Correct.
There are soldiers that are going to war at age 17 and 18 years old and being shot at and wind up having to kill people, right? So and just imagine what you were going through, just hearing about it, and what these soldiers are going through. All right, so let's go on over to Venezuela. So tell us first, why are you doing this Venezuelan project?
Still one more picture.
What? Oh, one more picture.
Oh, okay. So that's me standing next to Eagle Scout Master Eric Cahill, and he is part of the Boy Scouts. I'm a Girl Scout, but I actually had a whole presentation in front of like 70 people, Boy Scouts and their families, about the importance of honoring our veterans. And there you see me standing in front of a very important table that is called the Prisoner of War Missing in Action table, also known as POW MIA table. And this table, it basically represents the fate or the life of POW MIAs and their families. For example, the rose represents the love that their families have, and the lemon that you see there represents the bitter fate of the soldiers. You see it in ceremonies, and it's an important military tradition.
So there was a soldier in the Vietnam War. His name was John McCain. Does that name mean
Yeah.
anything to you? Do you know the story of the senator?
I've heard it, but I haven't. Like, I've heard his name, and I know that he did that. But I don't know the
He
story.
was a prisoner of war in Vietnam.
Mhm.
They tied his arms, ruined his shoulders, which he lived with his entire life. And his father, who was a high-ranking official, after months or years, got his son released, and the son, John, was prisoner of war, said, "I'm not going until all my men are gone." So he stayed there in that environment. I don't know how long it was past that, but he was a real, not just a gentleman's gentleman, but a real hero, all right, who served in Congress and the Senate for years. So there's a lot of great things that happen from being trained as soldiers, right? So, all right, so let's talk about Venezuela.
So my project, it actually started back like 4 years ago. I'm a Girl Scout, so it actually used to be in partnership with my sister and two other Girl Scouts. We were doing the project, but I guess during COVID, it kind of fell stagnant. We weren't. So it basically consists of collecting donations of like hygienic materials, school materials, clothing used or new in good condition, or non-perishable food, and we send that to the desperate families in Venezuela. So basically, after COVID, it kind of fell stagnant, and so I wanted to retake the project and boost it even more. And now we're reaching out to cities, to 4 cities. The most recent one is Barquisimeto, and the other 3 are Maracaibo, Caracas, and I forgot the other. Oh, Valencia. Yes, Valencia. And so that's basically my project. It just I organized multiple drives. I say, okay, this week we want to do like school materials, and so throughout the week or throughout the month, I sent flyers and use my Instagram to reach out to my community. And they basically, like, the heart of this project is bringing my community together to do this good deed of sending those who are really in need. We give them those donations.
This is your project.
Yes.
So you collect the items, and then you have to get them there.
Yes. So that was a big challenge, making sure that, I could collect them, but how are we sure that it's going to get there? And so I am connected to a foundation. It's called Obra Donorione, and ONIM is a section that I'm focusing on. That's basically, they house over 67 people with mental or physical disabilities.
And where's that?
That is in Barquisimeto, Venezuela.
Oh, in Venezuela.
Yes.
Okay.
And that foundation, basically, it gives them a home. A lot of them were in situations of abandonment. They were just on the street. So they took them, they gave them a home, they raised them. And that's where most of my shipments are going through there. But I also send to direct families and other foundation in Venezuela. And yeah.
So Natalie, what's your connection to Venezuela?
So I know that's a question I get a lot, because I was born and raised here, but my parents are Colombian. My rest of my family are Colombian. But Venezuela has really touched my heart because, every country, I feel like even the US, Colombia, they all have like impoverished communities. But Venezuela is really the entire country. 3 out of 4 Venezuelans are living in extreme poverty. That's extreme. But that's what really, the fact that I could make an impact in a foreign country like that, that's really fulfilling and gratifying.
So both of you have been involved, and we're going to get onto the Girl Scouts in just a moment. So here you are doing these wonderful things. Tell us about what it feels like and how that's impacted your life.
So through this service project and all these good deeds that we've been doing, the number one thing that we look forward to is that gratification feeling, knowing that there's people out there that are thankful for what you did, and knowing that you are the one that did it, just bringing smiles to people. That's really what motivates us. And I think another thing is inspiring others to do the same, because as Girl Scouts, we like to bring people together to do things together and get things done that the world needs. So I really like that aspect of it. Mm-hmm.
And for you?
Yeah, as for my project, this has really been like a humbling experience, seeing that maybe like a pair of shoes that were just sitting in your closet, you never looked at them, and now you see a child, they're wearing them and they're ecstatic about it. Like, that was really humbling to see that you have to not take things for granted. Like, they are celebrating what's something that you didn't even know you had. So I feel like,
and speaking of stuff that you didn't know you have, giving comes in all sorts of ways. Some
Yes.
is time, some is money, some is energy, some is connections. So frequently, and there's been big discussions about it, sometimes people give a lot of money and time, so it invites other people to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's people on the other side, which I ascribe to frequently, which is give anonymously. Then it's just you and whoever gets it. And I learned that I was taking a personal growth seminar. They said, listen, maybe when you go out, you buy somebody's dinner. So I was taking a break from the class. I was sitting at a bar, right, ordering, and they had dinner. And I went to pay, and somebody had paid. That was 30 years ago. I got goosebumps, right? And I said, wow. And I happened to know the person had to be watching because it was done. I said, what a great experience. So I used to do that all the time.
Wow.
And then I would pay, long before you're probably born, there were toll booths. You put in money. I would pay for the car behind me, right?
Wow.
Wow.
And it was just a great, wonderful feeling to be able to do that. Christmas time, 6 months ago, I had some gifts for kids that I was going to give away. And I go by, it was a Sunday morning, 6 o'clock. And I dropped by Salvation Army. Of course, they weren't open, but I had these packages. And I pulled into McDonald's to get a cup of coffee. And some guy wanted to get in front of me. I said, hey, go ahead. So I go up to pay. And the lady says, he paid for your coffee. I said, wow. When I go to pick up the coffee, I look at this little lady and I'm thinking, here she's working and crazy. She's probably got a bunch of kids at home. I don't know if she's married. I looked at the gifts. They were on my seat, and I took the gifts and I gave that to her. All right.
Oh.
And it was such a wonderful feeling to be able to do that. And that all started because of kindness.
Yeah.
She happened to be the recipient of the kindness of two people before her. And then whoever she gave those gifts to, that I think were her kids, all right? And every time I see her, all right, she didn't recognize me, all right? But I recognize her, all right? It's a wonderful feeling that she was able to spread her good stuff because she felt good that somebody paid attention to her. So one of the things I like you to keep in your mind is, what can I do that just I know about it, right? And you do it because it's a different feeling inside. And the feeling of happiness that you have, it doubles that up, right?
Yes.
I do believe that when we do give, right, it causes other people to also give. So
Right.
we
Yeah, I
try
agree.
here to do both of those things. So both you're in the Girl Scouts,
Correct.
right?
Mhm.
Tell us about your big Girl Scout projects,
So
the gold awards, right?
yeah, for me, that is my gold award, the Honoring Our Veterans project. And so for the gold award, it's very important that you find a need in your community. Identifying it, that's the first step. Next is making sure that it's sustainable. So it can't just be like a one-time thing, like a one-time drive or anything. So how I assure that my project is sustainable is that through many ways, but for example, the POWMI table, that's also one of the aspects in my project. And the day in last year, Veterans Day, I noticed that the table wasn't exactly how it should have been, how it should be accurately portrayed. So I decided to make my own kit that will be stored in the Miami Vet Center, and they have accessibility to transport that table and help assemble it in different events across annually and in my community. And I thought that would be a good way to sustain it. And another way is also my fellow Girl Scouts. They, for the Doral in the Veterans Day Park in Doral, I would be giving an instructional video, and then I would send it to my younger Girl Scouts in the troop, and they can continue my legacy by explaining the table that I have there every year. And that's why, like, I can educate the community more about it, because I realize that not a lot of people know about the
So you
table.
bring up a really good point, is how to do things that can be carried on long after you're not involved with
Yeah.
it. Right? So tell us about why you were in Girl Scouts and what that has done for you.
So we've been in Girl Scouts for 11 years. This is our 12th year now. So it's
Wait,
basically
12th year, you're 17.
we're like 5 around.
Okay.
So we basically, like, the Girl Scouts raised us in a way. They've taught us so many valuable things, like our confidence, challenge seeking. Those are things that we carry on even on our adult life. So it's basically just been a beautiful journey. And now the Gold Award is the highest award a Girl Scout could get. There's the Bronze, the Silver, and the Gold Award. We've done both the Bronze and the Silver. So now we're aiming for a Gold Award to just seal it off. And yeah.
It's wonderful how this feeds on itself as you're feeling confident to be able to do that. So you're rising seniors, which mean you have 6-7 more months to go starting in September.
Yes.
Tell me about future education.
So, like what I would like to study? Well, I'd like to go into computer science. Now I've already taken one college level class of a programming language. And after I took it, I'm going into that. Like, I love technology ever since I was little. Like, my dad's a software engineer.
Is your dad here?
Yes, he is here.
And your mom's here too?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's definitely been like a big inspiration to me ever since I was little. And after that, like he's always been like teaching me like little things on his job. I didn't really understand when I was little, but I always had that big curiosity, and that's something that we've always carried on throughout our lives. And so yeah, that's what I would like to study, and getting into the digital world of the future.
And within that realm, how do you see it now as far as what you might do as today at 17?
So in the future,
Yes.
so I definitely want to get at least like a master's degree on it, because I realized that before, you can get away with getting a bachelor's degree, but now like the demand for programmers and STEM majors is getting higher every year. So at least a master's degree, maybe I would like a PhD also, and just maybe going into a big company like Google or something like that as a software engineer or programmer that can really innovate things. And I would like to leave like my mark in the future somehow, maybe through technology.
So where does that come from? That desire?
That drive, I guess. Definitely my dad. Like I just see him working every day, like past midnight, and I want to know. Like I would always question myself, what is that motivation that always keeps him going? And I just like sat down one day and I realized when I did my first program, it was super simple. It was just like type in your name and then the year you were born, and it would calculate your age. And after that, I showed it to my dad, and he told me he was super proud of me, and I just like burst into tears. And that moment, it was just like the moment that was the spark. So yeah.
So often in life, there's a point at which we externalize what we want to do, but before you externalize it, is being created or was already created. That's back there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talked about that, but how far back was it cooking in the oven before you said, okay, this is it?
Very far back. Maybe I was like 6 years old, like when the Wi-Fi would come out, or like there was some problem with the TV remote. I remember my sister and my mom would look at me and she's like, okay, you're the little engineer, like do something. And I remember I actually did something and it worked, and I was super proud of myself. So it kind of started when I was really young.
Mom, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Consider it was only a few years ago. Okay. All right. So, Natalie.
Yes.
So when did you recognize
Like,
about yourself before you actually said it? All right. Where were you? Can you say where it was or approximate the age?
I think I was probably around 8 years old. I would like to major in biomedical engineering. So it's basically a mix of technology and science. But I remember when I was 8, our parents, for our birthday, they gave us like a microscope, a toy microscope, but it was enough for me to be so excited to like look at the lens, like see like all like the little cells and everything. That really excited me, like the science of it.
So they sensed that about you
Yeah, I think so.
because they wouldn't have the microscope. So when do you think they sensed that about you?
I think I've just had like always, we've both been very curious as children, but definitely science. I want to know like how much can I do like as a biomedical engineer? They're always like evolving in the future. So if I could create like a device or something to help maybe even like cure cancer or help somebody with a heart disease, like knowing that you were the first one to help create a device like that and help so many people in the healthcare field, that would be really gratifying.
So wherever you wind up in the next 10 years, you should be proud of yourself and of your parents that you sense what you know about your abilities. All right. And so all the school and the teachers there and the Girl Scouts and the project you work on help make that happen.
Yes.
So what would be some advice that you want to give to somebody that's younger than you? I don't know how much younger they can be, but younger than you, about achieving things that they want in their life?
So I would say like one really big life lesson that we were taught when we were young, and I think that has helped us shape into the people that we are now, is being grateful, knowing that you have to have humility in your life. Ever since we were little, even my mom would tell us like, okay, do you want to give away this toy? You're not using it anymore. And we would always be like, oh yeah, let's give it to someone who actually cares. That part is like letting go of things and knowing that someone else will be happy with it. That's good. Also, just self-confidence. That's something that we've learned through Girl Scouts. When we were younger, we're still kind of shy, but we used to be even more shy. And even through like the sisterhood of being a Girl Scout, that family, it really helped us as a support, having a support system. Always know that there's always someone there you can talk to. That helped a lot. That's helped me a lot to grow as the person who I am today.
So Natalie, so here you are, you've gotten that support from people, all right, and they've helped you grow. What are you doing to help somebody else grow like that?
Right now, I think just bringing people together and through our community service projects, even just through social media, just seeing how like everyone just collaborates to do one thing and seeing how everyone shares that same fulfillment of things, that helps. I think that would help achieve that.
Would you say there've been a lot of people that have helped you along your way?
Definitely, yeah. We didn't get here alone. Like
Okay.
friends, family.
So
everyone.
here's a question for you, and it's somewhat rhetorical. All right, what are you going to do to help the next people that are in line waiting to get a clue from somebody else? There's some young girl out there that's waiting for that final person to say, "You can do this." All right.
Well, you definitely, it all happens with your self confidence because, okay, everyone could support you, but in the end, you are the one doing it. So if you know you're capable, then everything is possible. Just have a passion. If you're passionate, you have fun, you'll get places. Like that's my main thing.
When I was in college a long time ago, I was failing a class. And the professor came over. She said, "Come on, Michael, we got a special class." Okay. I go with her. I walk into her office, which is not in this area here. And she says, "What's going on?" I said, "Every time I started writing, I get stumped and I get frustrated. And you probably never heard this before. And I pulled the paper out of the typewriter." And she says, "Michael, the next time that happens, why don't you just stop and pause and start again?" And I'm going to tell you that was more than 50 years ago. And I still do that. Right. And so I think that it's important for all of us to be able to share with others, all right, what you've learned for their betterment, all right, and things that if they want to, they can see that. So, and I've forgotten the teacher's name, all right, because it was a long time ago, but I can tell you that I have been friends with one of my professors from 1970, all right. He died, the wife, who's now 85, all right, she calls me when she was having a medical emergency. I was stunned, all right, because I was friends with them for a long time. I picked up the phone and called her, the two adult children. I said, "You need to get over there and take care of your mother." And they go, "What do you mean?" I said, "She needs it." They said, "No, she doesn't." I said, "I'm telling you, I went there. She needs your help." So some of the relationships that you're having are now you will have for your entire life, including the people that are in this room over here. So I think it's important that we honor those people and to recognize them. So what I'd like you to do, I know it wouldn't be all the people, but somebody that has served as a great inspiration for you, and then we're going to ask you after that.
Well, it's kind of cliche, but I definitely say my mom.
Okay.
Because she's a fighter. Like my dad's like working, but she's a stay-at-home mom for now. And throughout the years, I think I value that a lot, that she has been there with us and to teach us all the good moral and values that we stand to today. And seeing her work hard, sometimes she would get a job and she'd have to work. And we were only like 2 years old. My grandma had to come from Colombia, fly here, and she would kind of be like our babysitter. And she had to like she had to raise us for quite a time. And my mom sacrificed that for us to have a better life. And that's really inspirational to me, to know that, you know, giving something away to do something better for someone else, like that's just the main theme that's been going on.
You want to say something to her right now? She's right over there.
I don't know, like, "I love you so much, Mom," but I'm gonna cry like you talk.
That's okay. All right, good. Okay, Natalie.
Honestly, I tried thinking of it while she was responding, but I do say my parents, like my mother, she really instilled like even the basis of my project, just giving, and then you don't have to receive anything like money or anything. Just giving is enough. And honestly, for my project, just seeing the smiles of those Venezuelan kids or families, that's the biggest reward. I think, yeah.
So one day when you have children, all right, you're going to feel as proud of them as they are of you. So we're going to wrap it up here. It's been wonderful. Congratulations to you.
Thank
you know where you're going to go to school?
We're thinking of different options.
The dream is MIT.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Wow, good for you. We need more women in STEM, all right? Starting at, they go to Sunset High School and get real good training out there on their college and career pathway. Again, thanks for joining us. All right, it's been tremendous. All right.
Thank you.
Nicole Natalie Sanchez. And thanks, family. And thanks to their teacher right over there. Again, thank you for joining us live with Miami's Community News. Have a great day.